Hussein is not natural. You've probably seen that many times over the course of the 2 days. And yeah, I'd like to have my own take on this because I've already made a video and I will stick to my belief of, even though a lot of people may think Hussein is unnatural, I particularly think he is. I just think this was a shit overall play by Greg and Hussein just to get a bit of drama around them and gain more views and blah blah blah. Now, I'll explain why I think he's natural and also some other things because, you know, from my own experience and everything else. So, Hussein was skinny like I was, so I'll put up two comparisons here. That's me and that's Hussein. And I want you to look at these pictures, right? You'd probably think, yeah, these guys wouldn't obtain a lot of muscle, right? But this is me after 1 year. This is Hussein after like 2 or whatever. So this is 1 year of lifting. This is one of Hussein's pictures. I don't really know what the time frame is. This is me after 2.5 years. I'll just put up a video of me or something. And this is Hussein after like 3 years. He said he's like 3+ years now. And yeah, so I'm not saying I'm better or worse than Hussein. I'm saying I've had a pretty impressive physique transformation, I'd say, in the general, you know, status and, you know, the general, you know, world. I'd say that all that's down to is just like my effort and, you know, the look of having certain people around me, like my friends, keeping me, you know, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you know, that kind of thing. I'm quite lucky in that regard that I have friends that, you know, are able to help me and, you know, push me forward. With Hussein, do I think his physique is 100% natural? There is that small percentage I think he is unnatural, but that's kind of like outlined by the way he looks, you know, outside of, you know, his pump pictures and, you know, the bunch of filters I uses. And I'd like to describe Hussein as more of an Andrew Eubanks kind of figure because I'm not much of a fan of his content. Yeah, he's quite informative sometimes and, you know, he has the odd good video, but he's like Alex, you know, not very exciting. He doesn't have much of a personality. He literally goes, so I did this. Just like fucking emotionless. But he's not I'm not his target audience personally. I'm more of a Sam Sulek and, you know, other guys, you know, that have a bit more personality to them. And that's just my own preference, you know. And it's not I know people are wanting the honesty part of it because loads of people love, you know, Sam Sulek and he's openly on steroids. But when it comes to natural lifting, there is a plethora of where you could probably land. Like, I would say I've got at least, you know, semi-decent physique from where I came from, right? I'd say Hussein's got an amazing physique from where he came from. Now, when it comes to this whole natty or not situation, I'm pretty sure, you know, people are just wanting to wonder because Hussein does sell courses based on his physique and they want to know if he's actually being honest, which I think he's being honest, but I think he's just being a bit of a prick right now because I know a lot of people think he is unnatural, which I get it. You know, he's got an amazing physique, but I genuinely think that's obtainable naturally, but I don't think he's shown the bulking, you know, because I've bulked. I am currently bulked at the moment. I'm weighing 95 kilos at the moment. So, yeah, I'm quite soft around the edges. And, yeah, I mainly do that to increase my strength and hopefully increase my muscle mass at the same time. Now, would I say I'm completely obese? No, I'd like to say I can see my abs when I flex them, but not when I'm relaxed. You know, I don't want to get like a bit of a belly because you can see, well, hopefully you don't see my todger, but you know, my skin's fairly, you know, to my body. It's like very, you know, attached and shit. But overall, I'd say, you know, I'm around 17%. I cruise around that right now. And that's just because I haven't done a cut in a while. I mean, the year one photo I just, you know, showed you was when I went on a cut after, you know, bulking for a bit. And then when it came around summer, because I wanted to, you know, get summer body, all this rubbish. And yeah, I cut down to probably, I'd say like around 12%-ish. 12% there. Yeah, I'll put you at 12%. But when it comes to lifting and stuff like that, I want most people to just realise people fall in different departments. Like, a lot of people will fall into the medium department. Like, you know, you'll have a good physique when you take your shirt off, but mostly when you put a shirt on, you kind of look shit. Which I'll admit, in some shirts, I look absolutely doo-doo. I look rubbish. I'll admit. You know, there's a Gymshark shirt that I wear only when I'm here because I look like absolute dog shit. Because I'm like, I'm kind of on the basis of selling it and stuff. But I wouldn't say it's my particularly favourite. But, you know, most people will land there. For those who land above, they're like, you know, Hussein kind of physique. I mean, in Jeff's video, there was another guy that was quite, you know, big and, you know, stuff like that. And then there's like another black guy that was quite bulky, but he's got a pretty good physique. And then there is Julian. Julian, I don't care if he's natural or not. Most of you are never getting anywhere near Julian, I'll admit. And I'll get into Julian in a second after, you know, talking about people's, you know, natural limits. I don't really care. This is why I don't really care about Julian or Hussein, is because I don't care if they're natural. You want to know why? Because I fall into a particular, you know, I'll only get this amount of muscle, I'll only get this strong. But I'll try my damn best. This is what people need to understand. To get the best physique you possibly can, stop comparing yourself to other people, which I am a big culprit of. I compare myself to people, not in physique, but in life in general. But I get it. It's very hard not to compare yourself to the person who has it better than you. I understand. But in this regard, you should, you know, pursue yourself. You know, look back at your old photos. Wow, I've gained so much. I've gained so much muscle. I look better. I look healthier. So I feel like, you know, with that in mind, you just need to think of, you know, what's suitable for me. How far can I go? How strong can I go? How big can I get? You know, like Dorian Yates, but without using, you know, steroids and shit. You know, push yourself. Genuinely, you'll be surprised on what you can achieve. I achieved a 200 kilogram squat within the first year of lifting. And yes, my form was absolute dog shit, but, you know, I don't think many people can do that. And I believe the second time I deadlifted, I pulled 180, which is like 400 pounds rounded up, right? So I'd say I've got okay genetics, you know. I've got okay genetics. And all I need to do really is put in the effort, you know, putting that time and effort, you know, to push myself and try and go as far as I can. Because, yeah, it's cool and everything. These guys, Julian has the big biceps and Hussein has the insane physique. But you are not Hussein. You are not Julian. You are none of these guys. You're not David Lade. These guys could be lying through their fucking teeth. And mostly, I think one of them in particular is, which I'll get onto in a bit. But I want you to look at this guy real quick. This guy, I'll put a video of him and stuff. This guy's like kind of like my inspiration, you know, what I want to achieve. Because this guy is a powerlifter, by the way. powerlifter. I'm kind of a pseudo powerlifter, but his physique is insane, and also his bench press is insane because he benches 230 and then deadlifts 350 without a belt, which is insane to me. And I'm like, yeah, those are the kinds of goals I want. And do I compare myself kind of to this? Not really. I just really inspired by this guy. It's a good thing to be inspired by these people, but you know, this guy in particular. He's drug tested and he's, part of the Danish, powerlifting people. They're probably the only Danish person you'll ever see, because I wouldn't say Danish people are particularly talented, but that's my own opinion, because I come from Europe and we hate each other. But yeah, this guy, insane. I mean, I think he's a Gymshark athlete now and stuff, but yeah, he's pretty fucking good. I mean, most people would love to look like this guy and have the strength that he has. But there is the odd chance this guy might be unnatural. Odd chance. But considering he gets drug tested and has to pee into a cup more times than he, probably goes get cinnamon rolls. I don't know what the Danish eat other than cinnamon rolls, but, that kind of shit, His genetic limit isn't my genetic limit. I could go beyond his limit. I could be under his limit. That's the kind of thing people need to understand. You just have a genetic limit and that's okay. Just try your goddamn best. And that's what I want to put out in this video, is that you need to try your best. Don't compare yourself to these people. I can't compare myself to the Danish guy. He's got tons of muscle and benches fucking tons. And because that's not me. I am not him. I am my own being. I have my own path. I have my own, things. I've recently got a shoulder injury. I bench pretty much half the shit he's doing. It feels like shit, but I'm pushing myself. I know in myself I am pushing my training, pushing my diet, pushing my supplements. I get this shit, probably not 1% better I'll get by using that shit. I do that because I want to push myself, and it's all about pushing yourself, because no matter your genetics, if you push yourself, that's respectable, in my books. Maybe not to people that say, oh bro, you're small, you have small forearms, even though my forearms are pretty, sizable, because people look at them probably from that angle and, it doesn't look that good. But as soon as I turn it like that, it's fine. My forearms aren't particularly, huge, but, in terms of size, they're kind of similar to my arms when flexed, pretty much. I never really flexed them. But when people say that about my physique, I don't really care, because I'm on a different path. I don't want really, massive forearms until it becomes like a problem where my, upper arm is outweighing my lower, and I really need to get my forearms into, fruition, right? So I'd probably do a bunch of forearm training. But you see, that's not my goal. My goal is to get as big, as strong as I can get naturally, and be as athletic naturally, because I also do MMA. That's my own goals. You probably don't do MMA, seeing as you're watching a lifting video. And that, for me, is my own goal. You have different goals. So all I have to say in this video is don't compare yourself, because comparison is the thief of joy, as my mother likes to ramble on about. But it's a very hard thing, I understand, but it's all about you. This journey is your journey. I just want to remind you of that. But also, I want you to just look at Julian. Julian might be natural. Hussein might be natural. But Hussein is probably more likely natural than Julian, in my own point of view. Because if you were to look at Julian's gut, Julian has a massive gut. And I'm not saying that as a body, jab at him. I'm just saying that as it's very weird how he's built. He's got a very weird build. Because, yeah, he has the fucking arms of Larry Wheels, which is already a red flag because Larry Wheels has genetics above genetics in many departments. Meanwhile, Julian here has a big fucking gut, and that particularly only comes from using insulin, or he actually does have a problem with his gut, which is what I've got to say as well. I've seen pictures of Julian when he was younger, which I think he released. He didn't have that problem. He didn't have like a bubbly gut. But now he does. Hence why I'm very much saying he's not. Because if you look at him and look at his gut, which looks like a massive Chinese red flag, you know, like them fuck off massive flags that they have in China. That's how much of a red flag that is. And for me, I don't care. Julian, if he's a liar, he's a piece of shit. Simple. And just because he's black doesn't mean he has good genetics. Simple. It's like whites. In Europe, we have Italians, and then we have Polish people, and then we have Spanish people, then we have French people, then we have English people. Would you say these people have a mixture of genetics? Yes. So does Africa. Africa has an abundance of weird genetics. We're going from like very, very short to extremely tall to extremely bulky to extremely fat. It's just how things have worked and how evolution has worked in our own, communities. Now, if Julian is natural, that's fine. Just don't compare yourself to him, because Julian, if he is natural, is probably 1 in a billion, like Greg Doucette likes to jerk off about. He is probably 1 in a million, if that's the case. And that's okay. Your journey is your journey. Don't compare yourself to Hussein or Julian. Please compare yourself to yourself. And yet again, that's why I want to push with this, video. I'm not taking a dig at Hussein. I'm not taking a dig at Julian. I'm just saying, from my own point of view, I don't care. And from my own, lived experience in the gym, I think Hussein is more likely natural, and I think Julian is more likely unnatural because of the red flags that he has. And Hussein, although the time frame, I think he is. But anyway, that's all for like my little bit of rambling, and I'm more of a, I like to put out my own opinion about training out there. I'm not more of a, controversy person, but, I like pushing this stuff out there and trying to, untoxify the gym community, because I know a lot of people out there are scared to even put out their physique, put out their hard work, because people will say it's shit, even though that's a lot of hard work out there. Because I know some people that don't try and they have insane results, and I know people that try and they have shit results. It's just a matter of, how much do you want it? Because no matter how shit your genetics are, at least you're better than you were. Think about that. But anyway, less of that. We're going into what I work out, This is like the third of the week, I have chest and arms, and then I have leg day. So these are just separate days. So my chest and arms revolves around more strength for my bench press. And that's just because I've recently injured my shoulder. Primarily because I was a bit too much of an idiot benching. Yeah. But when it comes to, strength, I have a couple compounds in there, to help. So incline bench, tempo, bench. Then I have skull crushers, heavy skull crushers, which I don't think I did particularly well on. But then the rest is like hypertrophy kind of shit. And then we have leg day, combining pretty much strength with hypertrophy yet again. Got pause squats as strength stuff. RDLs, strength, and then we got Bulgarians for like stability and strength, and then the rest is hypertrophy. So If you want to stick around for me to just explain what I do and, you know, how it fell in the day and stuff like that, please continue to watch the video. But hopefully you've took something away from, you know, my own perspective. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video and I'll see you in the gym.
Somebody get me through this nightmare.
Yeah, buddy.
Control myself. So what if you can see the darkest side of me? No one will ever.
So starting off the workout with 105 kilos for 3 reps of tempo bench. For those who do not know, the reason I use a belt on my sets is because I'm trying to get used to, you know, having a belt. Primarily because a thing that happened when I used to bench 145 is that I tend to find my ass came off the bench, but also I very much, you know, compress my spine into the bench kind of thing, if you understand that kind of perspective. But when it comes to benching, I tend to use a lot of my body, and the whole reason why I am using a belt here, I can more than happily do this without a belt, but it's getting used to that, because I feel like when I start to like grow, you know, get stronger and stuff, I will probably, you know, I could potentially injure myself on the bench. So by having the belt there, I'm able to get used to it for one, and two, it just like keeps my ass on the bench, because I have a big thing of like, you know, lifting my ass off, and it's not very healthy to do that, and two, you know, I'd rather do it properly. And that's the whole reason why I wear a belt. It's a personal preference. I can do it without, but it's just taking that one thing away from like thinking about something. So if it's like out of my mind, I'm able to focus on different things, which I have many things need to focus on. So like pure, just keeping the whole tension through the movement, and, you know, stuff like that. So by having the belt on, it's just like something to, you know, forget about, and I'm able to focus on more, you know, just my form and everything. So it's just like a bit of a, you know, mental barrier until I'm more comfortable to, you know, just do it automatically and I don't like fuck up my spine. But yeah, it's just like it's just a whole mental thing. It's not really a, you know, much of a performance enhancer per se, but, you know, it's just a personal preference at the end of the day. I mean, you can see in the next like clips I go into incline press. So incline press with 80 on, fairly easy, you know, nothing really, you know, and yeah, it's just like a bit more, you know, because some people like to think, oh yeah, benching volume is able to, you know, increase your bench and, you know, stuff like that, which many of my friends who are powerlifters do that, and their bench has gone up significantly. So by adding little variations, so like barbell, primarily because I can't do dumbbell at the moment because of my previous shoulder injury, and I just need to wait a bit longer before I can, you know, go into more dumbbell variations. It's just like, it's adding that, you know, bit extra, you know, bench volume. I mean, I'm doing this technically to failure. I don't really have a rep range, but you know, it's just adding more and can potentially, you know, increase my strength. I mean, over the past probably, what is it, 3 weeks now, my bench has, like, you know, gone quite up very quickly, because I'm trying not to injure myself again and try not get too ahead of myself, which is the more mature thing to do, and you know, go back to where I was benching. But I definitely feel a lot stronger now in comparison to, you know, before, because, you know, if anyone's had a, you know, shoulder impingement or anything like that, you'll understand that, you know, it fucking hurts, and, you know, you'd rather stay out of it and, you know, be more, you know, mature and think, yeah, I need to stop doing that for a bit. But we're on the comeback anyway. So yeah, now helping me is Mr. Ewan himself, and yeah, he's helping me with some skull crushers. Granted, they're not many reps, but you know, sometimes you need to push yourself because this is like 55 kilos, so like the pretty much an average weight of a, you know, probably 5'2" woman or something like that. But yeah, I would say my triceps can be a bit of a, you know, a hindrance on my bench, but when it comes to doing skull crushers, it helps me, you know, prevent that from happening. So like by increasing my strength on my triceps, but also increasing the, you know, size of them, I'm able to, you know, get stronger with my just like arm development and arm strength, because I tend to find my sticking point is where, not off my chest, but mainly, you know, at like a halfway on the way up. So that's mainly tricep focused, and yeah, I'm just putting things in place like skull crushers and incline press to hopefully, you know, get rid of those problems and, you know, basically get stronger. So it's just all in benefits to me. So anyway, on to more hypertrophy stuff. So this is probably the more, you know, probably fun stuff for some people, but I don't particularly find training fun. I just do it because, you know, I feel great at the end, and, you know, I get to help my physique and be stronger. But this is mainly for like my shoulders. Granted, I am quite blessed in the shoulder department, so I don't really need much stimulation. So we do single arm like around here, and then I go into like a Y raise because the cable beside me freed up, so I just decided to do both arms. I definitely recommend this movement because, you know, you see all these people going, you need a cuff, you need a cuff to do all your side raises. Shut up. Like, I think probably for shoulders this is probably your best bet because it keeps the tension throughout the movement, and personally you can see my shoulder development and stuff. It's quite, you know, out there. But when it comes to building your shoulders, for some people it might just, you need a bit more exercises, so like shoulder press, which you can see behind me, so like a machine shoulder press or something like that. And for me it's just like my side delts that I'm trying to work on, because I think my front delts are fine, and my rear delts, they're completely fine. They haven't they've only gained more in size the less I've done them. So I mean, I haven't really like shown them off, but, you know, they're definitely there. I don't even train them directly, so, you know, it's just skill issue at that point. So yeah, but yeah, when it comes to just shoulders, I just use cable lateral raises because, one, I feel more stimulation on it, and two, it's got me the results. So yeah, I just feel it's the better version. I can agree to some extent dumbbells are quite good as well. So like, you know, but you gotta like when you're going down, like slowly all the way down and then back up. That's the kind of like thing I like to say if you're more of a dumbbell person, or if you don't have a cable, just like, you know, do the eccentric. Is it the eccentric? Yeah, it's the eccentric very slowly. So, but anyway, on to some biceps. Doing some Bayesian Jeff nipple curls, of course. And yeah, it's actually quite good. I understand people think, oh yeah, Jeff Nippard is not really science-based. I know he's not like the most science-based person in the world, but from like feeling this movement, I definitely say it's in my top 3. So like I have preach curls as my top number 1. I have my these cable curls, so Bayesian whatever the fuck it's called, and probably any really front curl with a bar, I'd say, you know. like on a cable, like a cable front bar curl or whatever you want to call it. But I wouldn't say I'm more of a dumbbell person until, you know, like if I'm purely going for, you know, strengthening my biceps. I don't know who would do that, but I would probably just do easy bar curls if I'm going for more of the, you know, kind of like strength or something like that. I don't know, but when it comes to like genetics, I'm not really blessed in the arms department, so hence why I want to keep more tension on the bicep and also the tricep, which you'll see here. So this is kind of like a thing my friend taught me, but seeing as I can max out this whole stack thing here, which isn't really that difficult, this kind of just makes it a lot more, you know, difficult for me, and just like put some more, you know, tension through the movement, because you're not putting your whole body into it, and you know, you're just using your triceps, just pure tricep movement. So yeah, I'd say it definitely works. It's one of my favorite tricep exercises, but I'd say probably my favorite tricep exercise is extensions, skull crushers, and probably this, and then dips. But I can't do dips at the moment, so yeah, I've got to, you know, wait until my shoulder is fully free. But anyway, you'll get to see a bit of the, you know, posing I do, and then we'll be straight on to some leg day, everyone's favorite. So enjoy. Now to everyone's favourite leg day. This is purely like a 50-50 of strength and, you know, hypertrophy leg day. I wouldn't say my legs are my main point. It just depends on the angle I get it at, and I tried doing different angles today of like my legs, but they didn't really look that big. So I just like dumped those kinds of things so there'd be no posing at the end. But mostly, I've got pretty strong legs, and, you know, doing some pause squats at the start. So, for those who do not know, I'm going for probably a PR match, or just like a bit of a, you know, momentum kind of, you know, feel for next week. So I'll be doing either 202 or 205. I don't know what that's in pounds, but, you know, it's like 440 plus. So, you know, this just helps with like getting comfortable in the bottom position, which I think for squats you really do need. And if you're looking for like, you know, squat variations, I think I made a variations video at some point. You can always look at it. I think it's called training intensity techniques. So if you want to look at that, be my guest. But yeah, with pause squats, it just helps with the strength and, you know, feeling comfortable in the bottom position, which is always something I would say if you are wanting more of a deload half the week, I'd say do some pause squats, but not many people do them. But anyway, onto some RDLs, probably my favorite accessory for, like, you know, deadlifts, because I find with, you know, the stronger I get on them, the better my deadlift is. It's kind of like a stiff leg deadlift, but with stiff leg deadlifts, they're kind of like off the floor and stuff. But with RDLs, just trying to get strong on them. I just didn't want to go too far today, because I was like, I'd rather have my whole body ready for next week, which is hopefully the final factor of if I can, you know, deadlift 230 for more than like 2. So hopefully we'll be stimming to the shit. So anyway, onto some Bulgarians. For those who do not know, I do Bulgarians for stability and also, you know, just purely because I have had a injury on my leg. Believe it was to do with my hip flexor. So by doing Bulgarians, like it or not, it kind of like stretches the hip flexor on the leg that's like on the seat. So it's just like a bit of injury prevention, but also strength and stuff, because I have like 28s on each side, so 28 kilos. I mean, if you were to look at my videos probably a couple months ago, where I was starting to do Bulgarians, just like basically free weight, like I'm doing here, you'll see my balance was extremely off, and I could only do like 20 kilos on each side, and now I've got up to like 28, so that's kind of like a win for me. I know it's not like impressive, but it's impressive for me, someone that doesn't have much of a balance to them. So it just helps with the stabilizer muscles, and yes, I do use a belt, but that's because to prevent usage of my back muscles, which you'll tend to find when you pull them at all, you do use them a lot, so it's kind of like preventing that as well. So it's just a bit of injury prevention as well. So basically that's all the the strength, like other stuff, and now we're going to go into the hypertrophy stuff, which is single leg press. So I do one leg and then the other leg and then the double leg. It's like a kind of good technique that I just feel quite a lot, and I'd say definitely good intensity, because kind of like a drop set. So like you just do one drop, but yeah, using both of your legs, so you don't have to get up and hate yourself for a couple minutes. But and then you'll see me drop the weight. So like I do a higher weight and then I do a lower weight, so I try and get more reps out. But that's just like a personal preference. You can keep the same weight, but I like doing like a higher weight, try and get as many as possible, and then lower the weight, try and get as many as possible. It just like lowers the time that I'm on the machine, because although I can put it down to my impatience, but it's just like a bit of a time management thing, because I don't want to be in the gym for too long, because I have a life, and all my strength stuff takes up like fucking hours, so I'd rather be at the gym as soon as possible. So I mean, I do it for every like single muscle, but in specific to this, it's just like a thing that I do, and I have found a few results with it, so it does work. So I'd say but if you have like less time on your hands, then I'd definitely recommend it. But if you have more time, just keep it to the same weight. I mean, you can do same weight and still be time manageable, because you can just go 10-second rest and then just go straight into it. But I don't see that as more or less efficient. So I just try and get as many reps as I can, and just try and build them quads, because with the leg press, because we don't have a hack squat, it's like very hard to try and get like that teardrop muscle. And by doing like the double leg straight after doing the single leg, I'm able to target that kind of teardrop muscle. I can't remember what it's called, but it's to like try and like get different angles of the quad, and I tend to find that works. And I don't like using knee sleeves on leg press, because it feels a bit like cheating and stuff. So, and plus the new knee sleeves that I've got are like wax strips. They tear my hairs off my body, so I'd rather not put them on while doing just leg press. But anyway, onto hamstring curls. Finish off the hamstrings basically, just doing them in their shortened position. So the RDLs are more like your stretched position, and this is kind of like your shortened position, which it just adds to because the hamstring's made out of 3 muscles, and they both have like, well, all 3 of them have their own different purposes, so it's kind of like making sure you've got every single one of them. For hamstrings, all you need is RDLs and leg curls. Basically, there's not really much to it. I'd definitely say dumbbell variation, RDLs, very good. But you need to do them right. I see a lot of women do them wrong. It's not sexist or anything, it's just being like, yeah, I understand you want to get some hammies and some glutes, but you're doing it wrong. You're not even going all the way down. So it's up to the person, but you know, I tend to find if you just like go all the way down, definitely helps with your hamstring development. And yeah, I might make a video on, you know, form, etc. and stuff, and how I do things, but you know, this is kind of like a quick recap of what I do. So, but I go as intensely as I can on this because it's my last, you know, hamstring exercise. And yeah, it stimulates the muscles that need to be stimulated, and then we go straight on to adductors. You're probably thinking, what a weird guy, you're on adductors? Really? Adductors? You might as well be on abductors. Listen, my ass is already huge as it is, so I don't need some more glute stimulation. But when it comes to my adductors, I'm a fairly, you know, wide squatter. And by having my adductors as strong as they possibly can, it will help with my squat, and it will help with my stability on squat. So by training those, I'm able to, you know, not only like increase how my leg size looks, so you know, by it kind of like widens the, you know, overall look of your upper leg, and you know, it makes it look bigger. So I mean, if anything looks bigger, then that's a fucking plus. Am I right, boys? But some things may look smaller, but at least your quads are bigger. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it just helps with you know, not only looking bigger, but also with my goals to getting stronger squat. And yeah, I definitely find it works. And if you do like sumo deadlift, which isn't cheating, by the way, even though I'm more of a conventional person because I hate sumo, it definitely does help. One of my friends does sumo, and he says it definitely helps when it comes to, you know, trying to get the weight up and everything like that. So it's just you know, something you can do, and yeah, it's helpful in every strength movement. But anyway, on to the last exercise of today, some quad extensions. I do them single leg just purely because I full stack the machine, and also because I want to go a bit further and, you know, concentrate on each muscle, you know, independently. It makes for a, you know, a better workout. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, because it took quite a bit to even, you know, do it. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it, and please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help, you know. And thank you for 600 subscribers if you're even to this end bit. So I really do appreciate it. Anyway, thank you and goodbye.